So if we look at these two positions here now, both of these are kind of the same 50-yard shot you're going to try and do, okay?
Yes.
Now, you probably won't see it as easily, but we did discuss, obviously, moving that trail foot back.
Yes.
Probably the width of a golf ball or two. It's not twisting your feet open.
No, it's not.
It is an open stance by the letter of the law. Your feet are aiming right, but it's just bring your right leg, your right hip, and that just eases your hip movement. You get a bit more weight on that front foot, allows this hip now to get out of the way. And when this hip can rotate, your head can stay there more.
Absolutely.
If you can't rotate, your head goes that way. And if we look at these sort of two marks on here, I'll go back there now. As you swung on the left-hand side, you can see where your head is now relative to that green line. As you go back, you move back to it, and as you come into impact, as your club is coming down, that is now kind of the low point of your swing back here. So you've got to push your hands a long way forward, and if they got to push further forward, then the knees start going. Okay, so that's your impact position back there. Whereas this one now, as you went back, same good backswing. Now as your head's moving, it's not going back as you see. So as you get to the golf ball now, and you strike it, you miss the towel. There's impact.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's your chest, or the middle part of your head, which is a good 6 inches further right. So that's going to encourage a better contact, you see.
Of course.
Now, if you move the ball further forward, it's imperative you get your chest to go with it, otherwise you'll just thin the ball across the green, or fat it. If you move the ball back in your stance, you still want to keep your chest forward, but you're putting the ball back in the stance for a lower trajectory. Now, actually, for me, I don't mind middle of the stance. I don't mind forward and back. I was watching a thing a few weeks ago about Mickelson, and he said you either go forward or either go back. If you're in the middle, you're undecided, which I can get where he's coming from. But for me, I think...
And on bare lies, like we have up there?
Yeah, I would say for you, sort of, if you start putting it too far back, you're going to get steeper potentially, which you dig into it. The thing with a bare lie, what you want to try to ensure you do, the one thing we don't want to do with a bare lie is put the ball back in the stance and just chop down on it. Dig into the ground, or the club bounces. So what I would try and feel like I'm doing on a bare lie is almost feel like the club is kind of not dragging, but sort of staying in the same position relative to the butt end of the club and the head. So with a golf club normally would swing from here, go back and forth. On a bare lie, I always try and scrape the club across. So if I'm sort of playing up here now, it's kind of like that kind of shot. So the club is staying on the ground and through. I don't want to be doing that. But likewise, if the club starts going up and there's no grass on the ball, you are going to knife it across the green. So for me, you've got to again get your chest over the ball to scrape that club.
Over the ball,
this has to be over the ball. Now I think a part of the reason why he was coming back here, number one, you didn't want to dip your knees. So you were conscious of not dipping. You're also conscious of not keeping your head down, or keeping your head off. So not lifting your head up, but also keeping your head down, which in turn stops the chest and the torso rotating. If you look at the impact of those two here now, how much more, where your zip is there, where your zip is there. Okay, by trying to move this way to target and allow your head's in the same position, but because you weren't trying to keep it from moving through when you come through, okay, your chest was able to rotate a lot quicker. This one here now, as you go through, your head's able to move through with it. That connected arm swing with the chest.
Looks much better, doesn't it?
And the strikes you were getting then more regularly were consistently better. And once you strike the ball consistently, then if you swing a golf club back this far, it's 10-yard shot, 20 yards, 30 yards, whatever it may be. You'll start learning how far back it goes. If you did, because that was, there's the two backswings there. Look how far that was gone. That was basically the same 40 or 50-yard shot you were trying to hit on the sim the first time round. That's created best part of, I would say 70 or 80 yards. That's pretty much a full swing, isn't it? Your arm swing, your shoulder turn, your back's the target. If someone said, okay, right, here's a goal for a young man. What is he hitting there? Forget the club. You think, oh, okay, 100 yard plus probably. It's going to be a big swing, isn't it? So therefore, your brain starts thinking...
hands are head high, aren't they?
Well, yeah, exactly, it's a big shoulder turn. And people then look at that and go, okay, you're trying the ball 100 yards. As you get your club back here, your brain goes, oh, hang on a second, I've got too much power. I've got to try and reduce that power. So in the time frame from when the club's at the top of the bat now, we'll say at, well, basically 8 seconds, I guess. To 8.25, so a quarter of a second from the top of that backswing back to there, you've got to try to reduce that power or do something to try and stop the ball going too far, while at the same time not dip your knees and keep your head down and strike a ball properly and judge a distance. You can see how your brain's getting frazzled over the gun. So to try and be smooth and rhythmical, possible. Because there's so many thoughts going on at Peter. It's all very jaggedy and sort of. Look at the way, if you're driving through a foreign city on a roundabout, you know where you're going. You're often finding, oh, down that lane, oh, that lane. You're trying to get. If you know where you're going to go, you come up to the roundabout. I'm in this lane. You just stay in that lane and you go, ooh, and you go round. Cole was a good example. You get people at Culverhouse Cross and stuff. They get there, get the wrong lane, they sort of zigzag, oh, you need to get this, you need to get to barriers, you get to Carol, and they're all over the place, exactly. And their driver, you can see them in the car, you go, oh, hang on, change, and it's all very jagged and not very smooth. Whereas people who kind of know what lane they want to be in, and aren't those guys trying to cut everybody up, they get in their one lane and they go, just smooth transition. So once you know what you're trying to do, and you're not trying to do other things that you don't need to worry about, like slow the swing down, keep your head down, stop bending your knees and all this lot, the arms and the body and the chest can just do what they want to do. Like if I said throw a ball underarm, you wouldn't go, well, I must keep my arm into my body. You just go, okay, there you go. Things happen. So I think the key thing on the golf course next time, when you're behind the golf ball, do all your thinking there. How far have I got to go? What shot am I going to play? Am I 52? Am I 60? The ground's a bit hard. There's a bunker there. I've got to land on that bunker. I want a bit more trajectory. Okay, go my 60. If I'm my 60, where's it going to land? And you're kind of going through that process. Now, that was quite a long-winded version. When you do it by yourself, it'll be done. 5 seconds, 10 seconds at max. And then when you've chosen that shot and the club, you do your practice swing, trying to practice that length of swing you've just decided you're going to make. Cross over this so-called line of doing, and then live the consequences or whatever it may be.
Whatever they may be.
Go on to the next one. Okay, that makes sense?
Talk
good stuff.